It's time to continue our journey through the dark and twisted tale of the infamous Jigsaw Killer with the sixth film in the series, 2009's Saw 6. Welcome, fellow horror movie enthusiasts, to another chilling recap by Sinister Snapshots, where we indulge in the thrills and chills of our favorite horror films. Whether you're a die-hard fan or just looking for a refresher, we're here to ensure that you won't forget the horrors. The film opens with two people, explained to be predatory lenders Eddie and Simone. They're locked into head harnesses with screws directed towards their temples. In classic Jigsaw fashion, a message comes on the TV and explains that they both have to cut off flesh to weigh on the scale in their favor in order to survive. Eddie begins cutting from his stomach, but Simone chops off her arm and is able to tip the scale in her favor before time expires as we watch the screws drill into Eddie's head, killing him. A few minutes later, it's revealed that this game was overseen by Hoffman. The film cuts back to the ending of the previous movie, where we see Hoffman in the box he was sealed into as he watched Strom get crushed to death by the walls of the room closing in on him. Hoffman exits the box, presses a button to move the walls back into place as Strom's destroyed corpse falls to the floor. The scene cuts to an office for Umbrella Health Company, where the audience is introduced to William Easton, a health insurance executive. William is preparing for a suit where a previous employee of the company was denied coverage for a heart disease that he developed. After William exits his office, there's a cubicle that he refers to as the dog pit, in which the employee's main job is to scour their clients' applications for errors or discrepancies so that the company can deny them coverage to save money. Hoffman gets a call to report to the latest Jigsaw murder, where he meets Erickson. Erickson fills him in that they've identified Agent Strom's fingerprints on the Jigsaw murder victims. Hoffman sees Agent Perez, who was cut up from shrapnel shot by an exploding puppet in the previous film. Hoffman was under the impression that Perez had died in the accident and is surprised to see her alive. Hoffman goes to see the surviving victim from the opening scenes, Simone, in the hospital and begins to question her about the incident. She admits that her and Eddie were ruining people's lives, and Hoffman continues to question her further until she begins to yell at him. During Eddie's autopsy, the doctor, who says that he's overseen all of the Jigsaw victims' autopsies, reveals that the blade used to cut the puzzle piece from his remains was the same blade used on Seth Baxter. Perez and Erickson reopen the investigation and analyze the videotape found at the scene. Hoffman goes to Jill Tuck's clinic and demands 5 envelopes that contains photos of the victims of the current game. It's learned that Hoffman and Jill are working together to carry out John's dying request. The scene cuts to William Easton in his office late at night, where he's startled by a hooded security guard and shoots him. He's then apprehended when trying to tend to the guard. He wakes up wearing an oxygen mask as he's chained to a contraption. A video of John himself begins to play, where he informs William that there are 4 tests that he must complete to ensure his survival. A mother and son have also been abducted and are locked in a room where they can see a live camera feed of William in the trap. There's another man chained next to William. The first test states that every breath that the participants take will close the shackles tighter around their chest, crushing them, so whoever can hold their breath for the longest amount of time will survive. The other man cannot hold his breath and is killed by the trap. William moves on to his second test, where he sees 2 of his colleagues, his file clerk Alan and his secretary Addie, standing on a platform with a barbed wire noose around their necks. He's forced to choose who will live out of the 2 of them. He releases his grip on Alan's chain to save Addie. Another person named Pamela, a journalist, was abducted. She's locked in a similar room to the mother and son. She plays a micro-cassette tape that begins to explain why she was taken. Hoffman watches, but is called away by Erickson because there was an update on the Seth Baxter tape. The scene cuts back to William walking through the halls. A flashback ensues where John is explaining to William that he found a promising treatment for his disease, but he was denied coverage. John explains the treatment to William but is ultimately dismissed. Back in the present, William continues walking through the hall and arrives in a boiler room. He plays a tape that explains Debbie, the lawyer from William's firm, has 90 seconds to cross the room. If she does not, then the device attached to her chest will pierce through her brain. He assists her to get to the top, but her harness is locked. She finds out that the key was planted inside of William and grabs an electrical saw to attack him. He fights her off. The timer expires and she's killed by her trap. William exits the room, and the recording to Pamela begins to play again. She throws and breaks the tape in frustration before it's finished playing. Back at the precinct, the group of detectives discovers an abnormality in Strom's fingerprints. Perez tells Hoffman that the Baxter tape voice did not match John Kramer's, and that it's currently under analysis to descramble the tape to find the original voice. She notes that Hoffman's watch has a running timer on it, and asks him if he's timing something. He's currently timing William's game, but Perez does not know this. They go to the lab together, and the scene cuts back to William's game. William arrives at a door where 6 of his employees are chained to a spinning roundabout. He's told that he's only able to save 2 of the 6. There's a mounted shotgun with 6 rounds, and it will continue to fire until it's empty. If he does not choose anyone, then all 6 will die. He stops 2 of the bullets by pressing a button, while the other 4 employees are shot and killed. The detectives arrive at the voice lab as the analyst deciphers the tape recording. Perez and Erickson express that they're still skeptical, although all the facts of the case point to Strom as the killer. Erickson reveals that the fingerprints found on the previous victims were consistent with fingerprints of someone who was already dead when the fingerprints were placed. Simultaneously, the voice is deciphered to be Hoffman's. At this time, he pulls a knife and slices Erickson's neck, killing him, and throws hot coffee into Perez's face. He kills both the analyst and Perez, brings in Strom's severed hand to leave his fingerprints on the scene, then lights the entire room on fire. Hoffman returns to the observation room, where he sees the letter that he wrote to Amanda. In the letter, it's revealed that Amanda indirectly instigated the robbery at Jill's clinic that caused her miscarriage. He used this knowledge to blackmail Amanda to kill Dr. Lynn Denlin in a previous film. The letter was found by Pamela and given to Jill, who then uses it to ambush Hoffman. Jill, who had the remaining contents from her box, including a 6th envelope containing Hoffman's photo, restrains him and locks a modified reverse bear trap to his head. William reaches the end of his path and enters the cages where he reunites with Pamela, who's revealed to be his sister. He's confronted by Tara and Brent, the widow and son of Harold Abbott, a former client who succumbed to his heart disease after William denied his medical request. A videotape from John plays and informs Tara to decide William's fate by using the lever in her cell connected to tanks of hydrofluoric acid from each cage. As William and Pamela try to persuade the family, an enraged Brent pulls the lever, releasing a platform of needles that kills William by injecting the acid into his body. Jill exits the room to leave Hoffman to die as his trap counts down. He escapes his wrist restraints by smashing his hands with the bear trap, and escapes from the trap just as it activates, cutting open the side of his face in the process in a gory sequence of events, and the credits roll. That wraps up our Sinister Snapshots recap of Saw 6. If you enjoyed this recap, do not forget to subscribe to Sinister Snapshots, your one-stop destination for the best horror film recaps. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest and most horrifying tales from the best and most chilling films in the horror genre. And of course, leave a comment below about what other horror movie recaps or sinister stories you'd like to see next.